Hi, in this video we're going to talk about communicating uncertainty to your audience. This is one of the really delicate parts of data analysis and data journalism because many people come to data analysis in order to alleviate uncertainty, in order to get the cold hard facts. But what data science and statistics can do for you is not eliminate uncertainty, but quantify uncertainty. Data analysis can help you know how confident you should be in your results. They can't remove the uncertainty. So it's important that when you're working with data and communicating results, that you also communicate the confidence or the certainty that surrounds those results. For example, if you're going to say that 40% of the people in a community support a new garbage collection system, how confident are you that 40% represents the actual truth on the ground? And usually that's reported as a margin of error or confidence interval. So if you hear 40% plus or minus 3, that means that we are 90% confident that the actual percentage of people that want the new garbage collection is between 37 and 43. It's much easier to just say it's 40%. But the truth is, we are fairly sure that it's between 37 and 43%. And whether that matters to you is up to your audience. So the audience needs to know and make their own decision whether it's more important for them to know the confidence interval or the estimate, which is the 40%. There's a couple of ways to communicate uncertainty. You can write it down in your narrative. You can visualize it in your plots and your charts, or you can include a table. If you have to, you can put it in the appendix, but it's always a best practice to include as much of the uncertainty communication right there in the body of your material as possible. Some editors are fonder of this than others, but do your best to get at least some signal to your audience that there is a confidence interval involved in your story. Now, in terms of how to figure out how uncertain or certain you are, both Excel and Tableau can calculate confidence bands. The confidence band shows you how likely it is that the truth falls in those percentages. So 90%, a 90% confidence interval is kind of industry best practice in current data journalism. However, there's a very, very wide range. that's plus or minus a lot. There is many different debates about what should and should not be communicated. And one of the reasons that there are so many debates about how to communicate uncertainty is that even if you do a great job of showing uncertainty in your work, that doesn't mean that the general public is going to understand what that uncertainty means. So there's two different things that need to go on. The public at large needs a good data literacy education on what uncertainty means, what confidence intervals mean, what probabilities mean. And then we, as data journalists and data scientists, need to consistently communicate to the audience that the uncertainty exists and that it is meaningful. So Excel has several functions that can calculate the standard deviations and the confidence intervals in tables, and then it can put those confidence intervals into either the text of your story or into the charts and plots that you might make in Excel. In addition, Tableau can also visualize different confidence bands. If you're using a bar chart, for example, you can use a reference line and have that reference line illustrate the 90% confidence interval. That's built right into Tableau. If you're using a continuous variable, it's not built in. We'll kind of point and click to get a confidence interval. But there are some very straightforward ways to get a confidence interval, and we have included a video in the resources that show you exactly how to do that, and it'll only take a couple of minutes. In the data visualization community, there is a great video and a great set of resources on how to communicate uncertainty on Andy Kirk's blog. And this is one area where it's always good, even if you can only do it for 15 minutes, to run it by a statistician, just to make sure that what you're communicating is meaningful, so that you're doing your best to report the truth rather than the appearance of the truth. So that's communicating uncertainty.